Hello and welcome. I am Manha Ali. I am here. I'm from Goa, a very small and beautiful place in India. I'm glad you could join us today for this insightful webinar designed for you, educators, teachers, trainers, lecturers, parents who are dedicated towards shaping a brighter future of our children. I, on behalf of International Indian Professional Association, IIPA, extend a warm welcome to all of you present here today. IIPA is a platform wherein like-minded individuals can collaborate, gain fresh perspectives, and gain valuable solutions in this ever-evolving field of education. I would like to invite Dr. Shafiq, the president of IIPA, to share a bit about the remarkable journey and expertise of IIPA and introduce our esteemed speaker, Sister Asma Zaidi. Over to you, Dr. Shafiq.
Yeah. Good afternoon, good evening, and assalamu alaikum. Webinar. Before introducing today's speaker, I would like to share, a couple of thoughts from the IIPA. IIPA has been in the market since about 8 months, and we have multiple verticals working simultaneously. Based on the professions, we have different groups and hundreds of professionals have joined us, and they are benefiting from the activities of the IIPA. What I want to emphasize here is with this webinar, we would like to start women's wing of IIPA. Teachers and educators and trainers wing is one of the first wing. We would like to start the women's wing of IIPA. From now onwards, we'll be having a different vertical similar to the male counterparts. So we can expect more verticals in the women's group, starting from the IT and healthcare and many such professions in Saudi Arabia. So coming to the introduction of our guest speaker, we are honored to have Asma Zaidi ji as our esteemed speaker today. And I have known Asma since the time of COVID. Asma has been on my YouTube channel on multiple occasions. And she's a passionate educator, trainer, and author with 22 years of experience. Throughout her career, she has served as a school leader, teacher trainer, family counselor, and the founding author of the literacy program, Let's Read. Asma is also a territory head for Telangana and Jammu and Kashmir for Association of Primary Education and Research. Asma ji has many initiatives to share with us, so we'll be listening to her directly from from her side. Asma ji, on behalf of International Indian Professional Association, I welcome you to this webinar as a guest speaker. The stage is all yours. I welcome. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes. Assalamu alaikum, everybody, and thank you, Dr. Shafiq, for those kind words. I hope, inshallah, the participants today will enjoy the session that we have planned. As an educator, I always find it very exciting to share the thoughts of the future with parents and with aspiring teachers. Let's begin. Sorry, just 1 second. I'll stop sharing. I don't want to give the slides away. 1 second.
If you want me to share the PPTs, I can.
No, I can. It's okay. 1 second. So the topic for today is reimagining schools in the 21st century. And we are going to share a few interesting thoughts and some ideas with all of you. And I would like to begin this topic by asking you a few questions. The first one is about how we have lived and how we have grown up uh, in this evolving world. And you can answer the questions in the chat. Like, how do you think our world has changed in the past 40, 50 years? I'm assuming that everybody on this platform is going to be between 25 and maybe say 55, 65. So how do you think our world has evolved and changed in the past few years? Can you, if you would, I don't know, Dr. Shafiq, I'm okay with them unmuting themselves and speaking, or would you like them to write in the chat?
If it is yes or no, short answers they can put in the chat box. Otherwise, if it needs an explanation,
Yes,
they can unmute themselves and speak. Yeah.
there has been a rapid technology change, yes. What are the things that you feel that have changed in the past since you were young? I will share one small incident with you. Sadia has said rapid technology change. So I will share a little incident. When my children were small, I have three daughters, mashallah. When my children were small, when my eldest daughter was born, I recorded her voice. You know, like everybody in that time, we used to have a tape recorder and cassettes. And I used to record her voice. And I used to record her saying duas and talking and her rhymes and everything uh, in a tape recorder. And I had received that tape recorder as one of the things that I got when I got married, right? So after a few years, we moved to India and I was unpacking my things. And my youngest daughter was unpacking, and she was around 3, 4 years old at that time. And she was unpacking and she found that tape recorder. And she was so zapped. She was so curious. She did not know what a cassette was. She did. So there is a difference of 4 years between 6 years between my eldest and my third daughter. And it was so amazing that in 10 years since my daughter was born, the world had changed so much that my younger daughter did not even know what a cassette tape recorder is, right? I hope you get the drift of what I'm saying. Yes, I have some very good answers. And Muhammad Zafar, you are absolutely right. Everything has changed and everything has moved on, right? So I'm going to share a few things with you. I remember when I got married, this is how we used to make phone calls through the STD. And now, if you tell the children, they're going to laugh because my children say, which world of dinosaurs did you live in? But it's true. I mean, in 25 years, in 20 years, the world has changed so much that we don't have STD and ISD booths anymore. Does anybody remember STD booths? And we used
Yes,
to go and make phone calls at 11 o'clock in the night क्योंकि उस वक्त rate कम होता था. So we used to make phone calls after 11 o'clock. Everybody used to go. So do you remember?
I have. I
STD
remember
booth?
one. I remember one stage before that. So we used to book
Oh,
trunk calls.
right. Trunk calls also. Yes. So absolutely. So I mean, in 20 years, see where life has gone. STD and ISD booths are out, like they have completely gone. And now we are in the generation of, WhatsApp, video calls, Skype, Zoom. We are speaking in one place and talking to people in the other place. And it's so amazing how much technology has changed. And I think in the near future, if I'm not wrong, already we are seeing it in movies that we are not even going to need these phones. In a few years, the phones are going to go away and we are going to have just, those halo images and images where we are able to talk to people, right? So this is something else. How many of you remember the car? the good old ambassador, right? I remember my grandparents used to have this car, and whenever we used to come from Dubai and come on the airport, we used to have a grand ambassador, and it used to take all the load and all the luggage in one car. Beautiful car. I miss it sometimes because all of us cousins could get into the ambassador, and uh, we didn't need any other thing. 10, I think 15, aram say 15 people would squeeze in one ambassador, right? And now what do we have? This is the time of Tesla, right? It's the time when you don't even need a driver. We don't need drivers anymore. We are having planes without pilots. We are having cars without drivers. We are having, Japan has already started having robots. But unfortunately, in this amazing world where so much is changing, one thing has not changed till now. 1945, this is the classroom. And 2023 and now 2024 also, this is the classroom. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. This is a.
Yes.
इसमें कुछ did it bring anything? Did it strike something? Did it strike a chord? Is it right to have this classroom in this age and time? Is it okay? I mean, you can unmute and speak if you want to. Does it feel right to you? कि दुनिया
So,
कहाँ से कहाँ जा रही
yeah,
है?
this is pure injustice, I feel, to our children.
Yes, it is pure injustice. But unfortunately, when you talk to the teachers and when I do teacher training, they all say it is the parents. So we are shifting the blame, whoever it is. Teachers say and school says, no, the parents want the books. The parents want homework. The parents say, agar homework nahi diya to padha kya rahe? The parents say, if the children don't write, what are they studying in school? So we are not going to have a blame game, but we will understand that whoever it is, whether it is teachers or it is parents, the scenario of education in 2024 is really bad. Because the children who are in your lap right now are going to go into the job market in 2045, 2050 maybe. 20 साल में STD outdated हो गया, तो क्या 20 साल में present दुनिया outdated नहीं होगी?
Definitely hogi.
Yeah. Do you get the drift of what I'm saying? So we are doing a lot of injustice to our children because we are teaching them with old methods, with old books, with a curriculum and a syllabus that that is outdated. They don't need that curriculum and that syllabus anymore. There is a dilemma though, but I mean, just for a discussion, we cannot pair and share. But as a discussion, I would like to ask you, what are your thoughts and experiences about education in India, especially after COVID? What has happened? What has changed? What is one of the biggest things that has changed after COVID in the education sphere? If anybody would like to speak, you're most welcome to go ahead.
I mean, one obvious thing is people have become used to taking classes online. I see some of my friends who have actually shifted their children from off school to online schools. So
Absolutely.
before COVID, nobody could have imagined that, but it's kind of becoming a norm.
Absolutely.
But it is
Absolutely.
still very, very far away. Like I'm still scared to get my children there, and for
Yeah.
obvious reasons, for the
Yeah.
quality.
Yeah. Also, I'll tell you something. It is the fear of the unknown. It is shifting from a known space into an unknown space. And that is the fear that we should have for our children in the future also. Our children, the world that we exist in right now is known to us. But 10 years from now, that world we don't know. And that is the world in which our children are going to live. So the question to ask really is, What is it that my child needs right now that is going to help him 10, 15 years down the lane? If anybody else wants to share any thoughts or comments, you're most welcome.
Excuse me, miss.
Sure.
I'm Safia.
Assalamu alaikum, Safia. Yes, go on.
Actually, your point of view is absolutely I'm accepting, because when we are learning, the same system is following for our children. We
Yes.
should change that curriculum. Actually, I'm
Absolutely.
working as a STEAM educator in Riyadh. That system should be implemented in Indian curriculum too. So the students will upgrade according to the advanced knowledges like AI we are implementing in the education systems. Even robotics, the why they are get bored, because the thing what we are learning, the same thing they are learning, means they are obviously they get bored. They need change, because they are, we heard about the proverb, if we are like a step, we are doing 8 steps, means they are obviously doing 16 steps. They are advanced. So we have to think according to their level. And they don't want to burden themselves to write the same thing again and again, memorizing and vomiting. They are creative in nature. They are so innovative. And even though the art, also we can make it like an education by sketch. We have to make them to think. That's the advanced education I want to.
Right. Absolutely right, Safia.
Excuse me, can I speak? I
Uh,
think
I
if
think,
you are following,
sorry,
hello.
I just want to make an announcement that, if you can raise the hand, it will be easier for us to allow each, participant one by one. Otherwise, it will be
Oh,
a mess. So whoever wants to speak, please raise your hand, and definitely will create space for you. And Sister Safia, which school are you working in, Ria?
Currently, I'm working in Al Furzan International.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
Thank
Yeah, who is next?
yes. Hello, I'm Mrs. Mohammed. Yes, I would like to point out a few things. If you have lately followed the CBSE curriculum, they have got so many changes coming up. There's a lot of collaboration, there's a lot of teamwork, there's a lot of even the foundational years till the grade 12, a lot of changes have come up in the curriculum for the past 2 3 years. So I'm sure down the line, within a few years, you will be noticing a lot of changes. So we just cannot put down our Indian system saying that we are still following. Yeah, being a teacher and you being a part of the CBSE school, the number of innovations and changes that has been happening in the past 15 years is tremendous, and slowly it will change. And of course the board exams are still there until and unless slowly they start bringing it to another level. And STEM education, art integration, collaborative learning, these are all coming up. If you follow the curriculum closely, I'm sure we will have to accept it. And I don't think the Indian curriculum is totally, what do you say, wiped out or very outdated. It is rising. Thank you.
Absolutely, ma'am. I did not put down Indian education. I was talking about education in general, not Indian education in particular. That's point number one. And next thing, well said, absolutely right. CBSE has made a lot of advances and has changed the curriculum a lot and is enforcing curriculums to change. I don't know about Saudi Arabia, but in India, we still have a lot of state board schools, a lot of different curriculum schools that are operating. And even if you look at the national curriculum framework, the national curriculum framework which the government has given is really well thought of and well planned, and has got a lot of wonderful ideas. But it's not about what the government has stipulated and what it has asked us to do. The onus is falling on us that we should be able to implement those changes and bring about those changes in schools. So absolutely right, CBSE is doing a wonderful job and has changed a lot of things. But there is a long, long way to go for schools and for other curriculums who are not following CBSE. Currently, all of you are in Saudi Arabia, so I think most of your schools are CBSE schools. But on the whole, as an education system, we really have a long way to go. But thank you for pointing that out. You're absolutely right. Next one, please, if anybody wants to say anything.
Yeah, before
Or
the
maybe,
next
sir,
question.
we can move ahead and take question and answers in the end.
Yeah, I'll just make an announcement, then we can proceed.
Yeah.
There are some participants who have not named themselves, so it is difficult for us to address them. So if you can rename yourself, that will be easy for us. And those who have finished their question, they can put down their hands so that only those who are having raised hand will be allowing them to have a question. Mr. Mohit, would like to ask a question quickly because we need to move forward. We'll be having a question answer session at the end anyway. So if you have some burning question, you can ask. Otherwise, we can wait till the end.
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, hope all are doing well. Related to this, that there is a change and, kids are still not getting all the things properly. I would say it's not the curriculum or the kids or the injustice. I would say it is about the teachers who should be given the training. The teachers' professional development is needed, identifying the need for a teacher and an educator to teach the kids, providing proper sources to the teachers, training them according to what is happening in today's world. Teaching methodology should change. So the focus should be on training the teachers
I
more.
think she has raised a very important topic, and I'm sure Asma ji has, a lot to speak on that. I think we'll come back to that topic.
Yeah, because it's never about the, even if we have the old curriculum, it doesn't matter. The teaching methodology matters a lot because the students of 2024 still have the teachers from 90s. So the teacher need to get updated. The teacher need to have a professional development into her career, providing proper resources and everything. Then it will be a great thing for a teacher and a learner to go hand in hand. Thank
You
you.
have given a ready-made recipe to Asma ji. She will speak at length, inshallah, at the end of the.
That's a really nice thing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You've raised a very, very important.
Thank you, Ria. Thank you so much.
Asma ji will proceed, I think, because lack of the time.
Right. So absolutely wonderful point. Just 1 second. There's a lot of noise. 1 second.
Okay. Meantime, anyone would like to ask question or have a comment or something? Meantime, we can place the time. You can unmute yourself and please go ahead.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum. This is Muhammad Samiuddin. I have a question to Asma ji, as per the question the previous lady who asked, do you have any online trainings for the teachers that will support teachers who are living in Saudi from India? Because India is, alhamdulillah, mashallah, is a very great education in our country.
Samir bhai, it's a very important point that you have pointed out. As I said, Asma ji will be talking about the teachers training, and as you said about the online, we'll put every effort to bring the Indian quality or whatever the quality has been followed there for teachers training. We'll try to make it available in Saudi Arabia also, and this is one of the initiative we have started with. And definitely, we need your cooperation in strengthening the efforts, and more people can benefit from it. Thank you so much for taking out this question from this. Asma ji, please proceed so that we can cover the topic.
Yeah. So this is, I just wanted to show you a little clips of this is where the world is going. Are you able to hear it?
No. You can end this show, and then when restarting, select the optimized
Now
sound.
today, more than two.
Yes,
can hear it
audible.
now.
Audible.
The Media Lab started in the 1980s as an attempt to merge computers and the arts. But it has grown explosively, and now today, more than 200 graduate students are bringing their craziest ideas to this place and are given free rein to try to engineer them.
There are no rules at the Media Lab. Whatever you can envision pretty much falls under the guidelines of what the MIT Media Lab does.
I first heard about this story when a great young producer named Katie Kurbstadt came to my office and said, "You won't believe this thing that I found up in Boston at MIT." And I had frankly never heard of it. You look at the things that they accomplished there back in the 1980s, step-by-step driving instructions, developing a purpose for the touch screen. I was dying to get in there with Katie and see what they're coming up with for the next generation.
What's the largest city in Bulgaria, and what is the population?
Arnav Kapoor is a student. He's 23 years old from India. It's really exciting what he's working on.
Sophia, 1.21 million.
That is correct.
This is a device that you put on, and it intercepts the electrical signals that your brain is sending to your vocal cords and sends that to a computer. And he gets the answer right in his ear through vibrations.
You could be an expert in any subject. You have the entire internet in your head.
That's the idea.
What else should we do besides that? So Scott gets done interviewing Arnav, and we decided to have a little fun. So are you telling me that you can order food without lifting a finger or saying anything?
Let's do it, yeah. We
Yeah.
want to order.
Surprise me. And he says, it's asking, what kind of toppings do you want?
Want a cheese pizza?
Pepperoni?
Let's do some pepperoni pizza. Can it do pepperoni?
Let's try.
Let's try.
You got ourselves pizzas.
Get out of here. And he's like, okay, pizza's on his way. Should be here soon. We didn't really believe him. So we start packing up our gear, and lo and behold, he says, Katie, your pizza's here.
17.
Perfect, thank you so much. We got pizza. It's pizza delivered without saying a word or lifting a finger.
Pretty good turn.
The first pizza
How's that?
ordered by
Oh, good.
thinking.
It's very high tech.
He's only been working on it for 1 year, so I can't imagine what this project will look like in another year.
I was in a prosthetics lab where they're working on creating new limbs out of nuts and bolts and connecting them to the nerves and connect.
I really had a very vague picture of what my future would entail. I remember a moment with my father. He knew I wanted to return to my chosen sport of mountain climbing. And he told me, he said, if you want to do it, do it. There'll be a way. And he was right.
He developed new legs for himself, went back to rock climbing, and now has made this his life's work to create prosthetics that are so integrated to the
Of your body. Our vision is that humans will wear crazy exoskeletal structures that will power walking and running and jumping.
Able-bodied people will use these.
Right.
Why?
Because legs are wonderful. I mean, there's a reason nature has given us legs, but we're not very efficient. Most of us, when we run, we breathe very hard. So exoskeletons can make it very easy to move, to run, and also with less stress in the body.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Go.
The feeling of the exoskeleton that I was wearing is a little bit hard to describe. It's almost like something is kicking me in the heels.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You feel more?
So I hope you're able to see the kind of technology that I'm talking about. What's happening is absolutely crazy. The Indian reality, although, is very different. However, I'm going to skip it because we're not talking about India. But another enigma that I have for education, excuse me. Another enigma that I have for education is a thought that I want to share with you. What do you think is happening in these two pictures? You have the Neanderthal man and you have the modern man, right? And what is the similarity and what are the difference between these two people? Chat box, or anybody, if you want to save time and speak, you can speak, raise your hands, and we can give them a chance.
Sister Safia, is this regarding this picture or you want to have a comment on different topic?
Sir? Hello?
Yeah, please go ahead. You want to say something about this picture or you want to have comment on the previous slides?
Previous things. Actually, I was working in Indian school with the NCERT syllabus previously, past 5 years. And then I was updating myself with the STEAM education. So I was really, I want to implement the STEAM education in Indian education. That's the thing I want to
no,
talk
Sister Safia, thank you for the comment. Since we are on a different topic right now, we'll come back to that little later. It's okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Regarding the present slide, if anybody wants to have a comment or something, please unmute yourself. There are some comments in the chat box, Asma ji, if you want to have a look.
Absolutely. I think it's the same body doing different tasks as ages change. Hunting versus leisure swimming. Yes, you are right. But what I want to bring your attention to is that can you see man and can you see the design of man? And can you see the design of man now? Can you see how the basic structure of man has not changed? Adaptation, 50,000 years maybe, the only thing that has evolved is the brain and the prefrontal cortex. You know, so what I'm trying to say is that the development of man has not changed. The life cycle of man has not changed. The adaptation of man has not changed. The needs of man has not changed. You know, the need of the man is still what the need was 50,000 years ago. So if you are able to see, the biggest enigma right now for education is that bachon ke hamare, the children we have, their need is still that of man who was 50,000 years ago. But the environment that the children have has changed so much that the environment is totally different. And as parents and as educators, this is what we really need to think about. To strike a balance between the developmental needs of our children and the environmental needs of our children. Developmentally, our children still need what man needed 50,000 years ago. They still need to walk, they still need to move, they still need to digest their food, they still need to breathe and eat and chew and swim. And I think around, let's not go 50,000 years ago, I think even 50 years ago, or say 80, 90 years ago, 100 years ago, at the time of our grandparents, at that time, what happened with man? They used to walk for miles. The children would walk for miles. They worked, you know, with their hands. They did physical labor and physical work. And now look at the children who are there in our homes. What's happening to them? How much are they walking? What are they eating? What are they, how are they growing? What about their development? Right? So their development has changed so much. The environment in which they are developing has changed, but the need for their development has not changed. So that is one of the biggest enigmas in the education that we have to strike a balance with. So let us discuss what are the gaps in education today, what are the causes of these gaps, And what is the role of parents in school education? We will not be able to take all the responses, but maybe one or two of you can raise your hands and we can get a few ideas to share.
Muhammad Zafar? I think Muhammad Zafar has raised his hand. Please go ahead.
I just want to add one line. As a parent, I realize that these days most of the responsibility is with the parents, unlike earlier generations, where school has become just like a framework where the kids will go, they socialize, they learn the habits, they learn with the students. But the real education or the mentor, you can use the word mentor here. The real mentorship responsibility looks like is more with the parents in today's age than with the school and the teachers. The school overall has become a framework where they just go socialize, mingle, make friends, learn good and bad habits, and then come back. There is no learning as such. This is what I realize. I may be wrong, but this is my perspective as a parent.
Thank you for sharing your perspective, Mr. Zafar. Depends on which school and what kind of school your children go to. That's number one. And number two, in a way you are right, because the school is not the provider of knowledge anymore. 50 years ago, the teacher was the guru. She was the transferer of knowledge, of all the gyan. But now the knowledge is here. All children learn what they are supposed to learn before they come into the class on YouTube and on social media and on different places. The learning as such, the paradigm, you are right, it has shifted. And so the job of the schools has also shifted. And that is what we are going to talk about next. But right now, what I was asking was, if anybody wants or has any thoughts about what are the gaps in education, then you can share your thoughts.
Mr. Mahi?
Hi.
Yeah, please go
According
ahead.
to my perspective, I think for gaps, the biggest one is the teacher and student communication, the first thing. The second thing, I believe, the incoming technology. And the last would be parents being updated about what's happening with the learning process. So these would be the three major things where the teacher and student communication has to be very strong, so that when the teacher is delivering the lecture, the student imbibe it so well. The next goes with the technology incoming, which is really affecting both the teacher as well as the student. And parents need to get updated about what the child is doing, what he's learning. And these are the three things.
Mr. Salman?
Yeah.
Hi, sir. Good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, ma'am. Actually, I have been in education for last 30 years, and I have seen the people starting from the notebook to the mobile phone, all the gadgets right now. So the gap, what you are saying is that the parents, they don't want to give the time to the children. They are happy the children are busy in the gadgets. They are using the mobile phones. They are using the laptops. Before, when we were the students at the time, the parents were giving enough time to the children so that they were asking the question, they were having the family terms, they were having the relatives coming, and they were having a good communication between amongst them. But the thing is, right now, everybody is separate, and their friend is nothing but mobile or any other gadgets that they are using. So my concern is that we can get it back. I have been in this when this COVID was there. At the time, we appreciated the use of the online classes, and that created a long gap between the teacher and the students, what I feel. So my concern is that the teacher should prepare more and ask more questions in the classroom and get connected to the students as they are not doing it. So being an educationist, I wanted to say that the communication between the teacher and the student, communication between the parents and the students should be encouraged more. Thank you.
Thank you, Salman Khalid sir. Asma ji, he is one of the very senior consultant in health informatics in King's University Hospital in Riyadh. So we
Thank
are
you,
really
sir.
honored, sir, for your comment. Yeah, please.
Thank you, sir. And you were absolutely right. And so was the lady who came before you. These are absolutely the gaps in education. And there is a lot of ambiguity right now between what the school should do, what the parents should do, what I think it's time that we all got our hands together, collaborated even as parents and as teachers, and see where the world is going and how we need to upgrade our children to fit into that world. And if we move on next, the world that the future is what we call these days the VUCA world. The environment is very volatile in the sense that not aggressive, not volatile does not mean fighting or aggressive, but volatile here means that it is changing so quickly and it is so unpredictable that the child of today has to be prepared for this continuous rapid change. I was talking to a few students who were in engineering college, and they were telling me that in 4 years, when they started the course and by the time they finished their engineering, software engineering degree, the world had changed. So in 4 years, while they were doing their degree, things changed and became outdated. So, I mean, imagine the rate at which the world is changing. Because really what the child is learning in an engineering college, by the time you come out of that college, that knowledge that you have learned 3-4 years ago is outdated. So the child again is in a world which is uncertain, in a world that is volatile, in a world that requires you to take action about things that you are not sure about. Usually in the old days, people used to think, make a plan, be rational, because there was some predictability about how the world is going to be. Definitely the future has become more complex because there are so many things. Can you imagine what we just saw in the technology? Imagine that people are not talking, but actions are happening. Can you imagine it sounds really cool, but can you imagine the other side of the story? Can you imagine if you can't see a person talk and the person takes actions through people, you don't even know what's happening. You will not even know what has hit you. So it's a little scary if you become negative about it. It is a little scary, but the world has become volatile. It has become uncertain. The future is going to be very complex, and it is going to be very ambiguous. It is going to be a very unfamiliar territory. So in this VUCA world of the future, what is the role of education? I think the role of education has to be to change this volatile nature of the VUCA world into a vision, to make the uncertainty into understanding and predicting patterns. So you cannot really predict exactly what is going to happen, but you can assume, you can make good estimated guesses, which is again prediction. But if you are able to see patterns and train your brain in that way and have a different mindset, you will slowly start understanding those patterns. Complexity should turn into clarity. Ambiguity should turn into agility. And that means that what the school really needs to do is empower students with transferable skills, with skills which you are learning now, but they can be used 15 years from now. They will be used 20 years from now. And those skills are not going to go out of date. Do you understand? So what we really need is not an education system that is designed for the industrial revolution. We need an education system designed for innovation and change. We need an education system that is designed for young people of today and tomorrow, which is quite rightly happening in CBSE, but in state board schools and other kind of schools, it has not happened yet. So this is general information. We are relying on the formula, on the linear formula that you should study, get good grades, get good marks, get into a good college, and get into a good job. That is still the mindset of parents today. But in the VUCA world and in the career landscape, things are changing very, very fast. That's not the order that they are following. Now children are studying and working. They are working without any degrees. They are working through experiences. They are getting good jobs through their talent and their skills. Instagram, YouTube are filled with entrepreneurs who are doing their own thing. Whether it is making travel blogs and videos, or it is doing cooking, or it is doing stunts, or it is doing something else, tattoos, or selling something, whatever it is, it's so unpredictable and it's so different. It's not about the product that you have, but it's about how you are selling it on Instagram. It's about the hashtags that you are using, right? So we have to shift from 1 minute.
Okay, let me take this opportunity to announce, we have two separate groups for male teachers as well female teachers groups under the IIPA. So joining links has been shared in the chat box. You can use that to join our WhatsApp groups. And feedback form also, link to the feedback form also has been given in the chat box. So you can use that so that we can improvise our future programs. Asma ji, if you are ready, please go.
So we have to move from a system that counts on knowledge acquired during school hours. And like somebody rightly said, the role of parents has changed, the role of school has changed. It's because schools are not transferring knowledge anymore. You are right, they are providing skills to children and inculcating value systems and 21st century collaborative skills. And yes, I think the times have changed. The onus is not just on the schools or just on the parents, but it's 21st century is all about collaboration, right? So we really have to change the narrative. And because by 2030, all of us will spend 90% of our time solving problems and 40% more critical thinking skills. We will be using more critical thinking skills than we have used before. So the future is not about knowledge. The future is definitely about transferable skills and 21st century skills. It's about collaboration. It's about your ability to solve problems, because we are going to be in a VUCA world, which is going to be very uncertain. So children have to have this constant ability to solve their problems. And one second, because we had talked about, because we also have to keep in mind not just the environment in which we are in, but the balance about creating the development of children, which is so important. I want you to take a look at this future school, futuristic school. It is in Bali, Indonesia. We saw one video of where technology was taking us, but this is going to be another video about how the education barriers need to break. Let's see the video and then we will talk.
Welcome to my world.
He means our world.
This is Green School.
A place where we make solutions happen.
Where teachers
And students like me. And parents
like us.
and members of the community,
That's us.
and especially me, we come together
To make a difference in the world every day.
By living sustainably.
We learn how to solve problems.
We turn used cooking oil into fuel.
We grow our own food.
We experiment.
We innovate.
We're building a model for the future.
Join us. We stand together
and support you
to become more green.
We are entrepreneurs because we want to make the world a better place. To be a model for the future now.
Through education, we engage with the local community.
We invite people from all around the world to connect with us.
and join forces.
We can make a difference.
Education is our ally.
The future of our planet is now.
We are the future.
One word that describes green school?
This should be interesting.
Green.
Progressive.
Community.
Art.
Sustainability.
High-tech.
Low-tech.
Innovation. Inspiring. Creative. Entrepreneurial. Hopeful.
Optimistic.
Fun.
Global.
Planet Earth.
Respect.
Bold.
Fun.
Young.
Fresh.
Sustainable.
Solution.
Now.
I hope you saw a lot of things in that school which gave you clues about what education should look like in the future. So I hope you were able to see how the children, I hope you were able to see development of children, physical development, physical work and physical labor, I hope you were able to see farming. Farming is not outdated. Farming is the future. Believe me, if the world is going to go in the rate and the way in which it is going, where are our children going to eat from? Our children should know how to grow food. They should know how to plant seeds. They should know how to give water. They should know which food, which plants require how much sunlight and how much water. This is not ancient science, and it is ancient science and wisdom, but it is not outdated knowledge. It is definitely a knowledge that we need for the future. I hope you saw how the children were collaborating, coming together, living in a community. So that is what I was trying to get to, that it is time for schools and parents to come together to build communities. That is the future. The future is not a school and a house. The future is a community where parents, teachers become part of the system. I hope you were able to see sustainability. I hope you were able to see that the classrooms did not have 4 walls. The classrooms were open and they were wide. The classrooms had no barriers because learning has changed. Learning cannot be compartmentalized into English, math, science class, art period, music period anymore. Learning has to be integrated because that's what the future is all about. So, I mean, I know that right now when we are discussing, it sounds like a dream and it sounds like very far-fetched because these things are not within our reach. We are not in Indonesia. We are not in Bali. We cannot send our children to Bali. So what's the point in talking about it? No, there is a lot of point in talking about it because every action and behavior starts with a thought. When we start thinking and we make an intention, that is why niyat is so important. Before every action, for every Muslim, the action is null and void if there is no niyat. Intention is extremely important. So when we make the intention to change the education system for our children, let's not say education system. When we make the intention of changing the way of education for our children, learning, let's say learning, when we start changing the learning method for our children, that's the intention. That's when the wheels are going to work. That's when you're going to start collaborating. That's when you're going to come together with like-minded people. That's when you're going to find out spaces that your children need. You might not be able to bring a 360 degrees change like Bali, but you will definitely make things happen for your own children, right? So this is what, this is another very short video about professors who are talking about what type of children are most likely to succeed in the future. And let's listen to them and see what they have to say.
We divide the day up in high schools into bits of time, into 40 or 50-minute blocks typically, and then we ring bells and people start to shuffle around the building and do something else. That's an organizational device, it's not an educational principle.
10 university heads in 1890 said, in 11th grade, everyone should learn chemistry. In senior year, everyone should learn physics. A lot of these subjects are great, but these priorities were dictated 124 years ago.
The old blue-collar industrial model of education is already gone. We're already living in its wake.
What happens to society when hundreds of millions of people have that aimless, rudderless feeling of, I've been replaced by a very small box? I don't know if there's a solution.
We all learn in different ways. This isn't the way to do it. This is the way that I did it.
If the assignment is you get it back and you crumple it up and throw it in the trash can, that's kind of one student experience. And if the assignment is to produce something that you're going to present to professionals in the field, that's completely changing the whole dynamic.
We are trying to have that type of perplexity and curiosity get inculcated in our students.
saying your parents, all your friends' parents, and a bunch of people you don't know are going to be here to see the work you did. It creates an aspect of authenticity because we are creating something for an audience.
The things I think in life that give us some of the greatest satisfaction is making something that wasn't there before.
And I can't wait for that moment when it does work and I'm completely done with it. And it just like all leaves. It'll be one of the greatest moments in my life.
The kids have that feeling it's transformative for them. I made this, and everyone's coming to look at it.
Asma ji, when you said, let's see what professor have to say, I just saw the participant list there. There is one Dr. Suresh. He is a dentist, although he has, his own views on education. Dr. Suresh, can you quickly share your thoughts in a few seconds? Dr. Suresh, are you there?
Thank you so much. Yeah, sir. Thank you so much for asking. I'm quite caught off guard. Yeah, frankly, I'm here to listen to this learned woman. I don't really have anything to say, sir, but maybe if in the due course, if there is anything I can share, I will share. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We are honored, Yusuf. We are honored to have you here in the participant list.
Thank you so much, sir.
Another announcement, we'll be having a Q&A session and some announcements from Asma ji as well. Thank you so much for being patient so far, and we'll have session winding up within a few minutes, inshallah. Please go ahead, ma'am.
So as you can see, in the video, that the future is about collaboration. The future is about creating. The future is about producing, about sharing and communication skills, being able to say what you have produced to 100 people. And like I said, on Instagram, what is selling is not the product. It's the way you sell it. Your marketing, your hashtags, your communication, your ability to make videos, which frankly, for a lot of people like me, we have to hire the younger children, or I have to get my children to make those things for me, because we don't have those skills anymore, right? We require the children, 5 minutes. We require the children to make it for us, because it's so hard for us to learn the new generation, their language, their style, their perspective, because we are a different generation and these generations are changing really fast. So what are the top 10 soft skills that that our children require for a bright future? And I think the top of the list is going to be communication, self-motivation. Self-motivation.
Yeah, please go ahead. You're on mute, ma'am.
Sorry, I'm in the conference room and the mic is connected to the conference room, I think. So if they're talking outside, the voice is coming in. I'm so sorry. So communication, self-motivation, leadership skills, responsibility, teamwork, problem solving, definitely, ability to work under pressure, flexibility, and conflict resolution. I think one of the things that I have been seeing when we do career counseling for a lot of young adults is that they have the degree and they have the skill, but they are not able to sustain themselves in a working environment or in an office environment. They can't hear the criticism or take the feedback. They don't know how to negotiate. They don't have relationship skills. Children today lack relationship skills. And if you have learned anything from the Green Bali video, I think the top thing on your list should be going back to nature and going back to development and what is needed for development of our children, because that is crucial. So really the key is the balance between developmental needs and futuristic skills. We cannot ignore developmental needs for future skills. I think parents have a lot of misconception that if the children are on the phone or if the young babies are able to do Skype and call their nanny or dadi, they are very small, but they're able to do those things. It's learning for sure, but it is not what they need to learn right now. It is learning at the wrong time. This is not the time. Definitely in the early years, from 0 to almost about not 6, 7, I will say about 8, 9 years, the children need to use their bodies. They need to develop, they need to grow, they need to work with their hands. They need to run and cycle and swim and move around. And the time for technology will come. But it will come after the children are 10 years old, 9 or 10 years old. So the real key for parents and schools is to balance developmental needs and futuristic skills, right? So I think I do have a lot of hope for the future. I hope you have some hope for the future also. And that is the note that we are going to stop with. As an announcement, and because we are short of time, I would like you to know that Let's Read is offering a pre-primary teacher training for parents and for aspiring teachers. It is going to be a 120 hours diploma course. It's going to be a 120-hour diploma course, and it is going to be online and available for Saudi teachers. So if anybody is interested, you are more than welcome to let Dr. Shafiq know, and we can take it from there. So I think with that, I have finished my presentation. I'm sorry, I think I ran 10 minutes above time. But if you have any questions or comments, I'm all yours.
Thank you, Asma ji, being very interactive and trying to finish on time. I think Sister Sadia has a comment to share. Please go ahead, ma'am.
Hello, thank you for letting me to ask my question. Asma ji, today's the session was really informative. At the beginning, I really thought, oh, I have already heard all of these stuff. But when you started with the mind being, the chair wherein things are going to develop further on, that's when you caught my interest and I stayed on. So my question, I'm a homeschooling mother. I was a teacher in school, but I left schooling for my children and myself as a teacher because I was not satisfied with the schooling system. And I have jumped on to homeschooling just this year. Like your organization, even I'm 8 months old into homeschooling. So if I have to take the education system forward and for my children, just like I'm focusing only on my children, the slides that you showed about communication skills and all of these 10 skills that you shared, would you suggest that organic learning would help us in that direction, or do you think for building homeschooling communities like myself, do you think we need to again connect back to schools?
Same pinch. I'm a homeschooling parent.
Oh, that's
I
great.
have 3 daughters, and my eldest one went to an IB school. But I chose the IB school for her because she was the type of child who needed structure and who thrived in IB. She really, really thrived and boomed in the IB curriculum. And I think till date, if I had to go back in time and change her to homeschooling, I would not, because I thought IB really worked for her. But for the other 2, the second daughter, she went to a Montessori school since she was 2 years old, and then stayed in a Montessori till she was in class 6 or 7. And after that, she has never been to school. And she went directly, she's now in America in college, and she did her 10th and 12th grade through NIOS. So for you, I think the most important thing for children to learn is a lot of exposure and a lot of skills. So I made my daughter do, when my daughter was in class 10, she finished her class 10. I made her do the pre-primary teacher training course. I'm not blowing my own trumpet and trying to sell my own course. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm trying to tell you is that I got her enrolled into a course because of the skills that she would learn through that course. Because I thought that she would learn communication with parents. She would learn to be organized. She would learn to use her time. She would learn to be with children. And she doesn't want to be a teacher, by the way. My daughter doesn't want to be a teacher. She hates teaching. She doesn't want to teach. But I made her do the course because of the skills that she would learn through the course. So what I'm really trying to tell you is that homeschooling is a full-time job and a very difficult job, because instead of the school, you have to curate those experiences for your children. So it is organic, definitely, but it can also turn into a disaster if it is a waste of time. So you have to constantly make sure. I have 3 girls, but I let them travel on their own. That was a learning experience. They've traveled a lot and they have traveled independently. They have booked their own tickets. They have gone to their own. I don't know how many parents are okay with that, but that was, for me, that was a learning experience and exposure. And it was a risk that I was willing to take. So definitely homeschooling is amazing because I've done it myself. But I think children are different. And one of the real things that you need to reflect on is what kind of a learner is your child? Will your child, I know another parent, I know somebody else whom I'm working very closely with, and his daughter, he's homeschooling her, but his daughter is a thorough 110% school child. And I think he's making a big mistake with homeschooling her. So I think as an educator, if you're an educator, the biggest call that you have to take, the most responsible call, I would say, is what kind of a learner is your child, and what kind of an environment does your child need? Is your child kinesthetic and needs that space to do things on their own because the education system is not for her? Or like my daughter, eldest daughter, is your child the type of a child who's going to thrive in a structured environment? Because some children do thrive in a structured environment. I think it's all about knowing your child and the needs of your children. But for me, homeschooling was amazing. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of headache. I ended up spending 3-4 times more money than I would have done in a school. But it's a lot of work. It's you have to curate those experiences for your child.
Thank you, ma'am. Sadiq Bhai, we'll be coming to you next. Before that, Amir Bhai, you can join our teachers group where we can connect you to the homeschoolers. As you mentioned, you wanted to get connected. And we'll be having a session on homeschooling in future. And definitely I will be addressing more questions on that, because there are some views against homeschooling. So we welcome both, and we'll have clarity on homeschooling session in some other.
Dr. Shafiq, just one request. Since you mentioned this, I don't want to eat into others' time of question answers. So please do organize a session with Asma ma'am for homeschooling, so that we all, those who are homeschooling, can benefit from her experience and the knowledge that you guys can share with us. Thank you.
Sure, ma'am. It's our pleasure. And since we have Furqan Bhai and Dr. Mateen on panel also, I just want to make an announcement that we'll be having a session on AI in education, and another session on robotics as well. So whatever concerns have been raised regarding the AI for the education of the teachers and the robotics as well. So we'll be having those sessions in future. So stay tuned and get connected with the WhatsApp groups, as the links have been shared in the chat box. Sadiq Bhai, it's your time.
Yeah, actually, I have, first of all, it is a great session because I was not having this much understanding about it, but the initial 5-10 minutes, whatever the perspectives that were shared were really good. It made me thought about, rethink about a lot of things, which will come later. But my question is actually one, regarding this corporate learning, corporatization and, commercialization of the education. Okay, so what do you say about it? Because it is very confusing sometimes for the children, for the parents also, because of the society and a lot of other pressures. So can you just briefly throw a light about it in a short?
You're right, sir. Like everything else, there are too many things in the market. Even in education, there are too many types of education in the market. There are too many types of choices. I think one of the biggest things that we are struggling with and our children will struggle with are choices. Too many choices, right? So at the end of the day, it boils down to what works for you. What works for you, what works for your children, and the amount of time and the availability and resources that you have to spend for your child. If you are the type of parent who's not an educator, who does not have a support system, who has to work full time, both you and your wife have to work full time, you don't have a choice. Then the education that you choose for your child for going to school, whether it is a commercial school or any other type of school, that's the choice you make. And I'll quickly tell you one thing. Once my daughter was telling me, Mama, you shouldn't have done this. When this happened, you should have done this. And my answer to her was, I did what I thought was best at that time. Because trust me, you cannot make 100% correct decisions all the time. You will make decisions now about what you know now, what you think is best right now. You might change your views 5 years down the lane, but the decision that you are making is not by looking into the future. It is about what you are knowing right now and the amount of knowledge and the situation in which you are in. See, I cannot gauge your situation because your situation may be completely different from what is available and the resources and the support system that is available for me. So maybe for me, I was an educator, I was a passionate educator, I did not have a support system. But because I was so focused and so dedicated about what my children are going to learn, I made it happen. But I am very conscious of the fact that every mother or teacher is not the same. And it might not work for her. And it might not work for a lot of other parents. So I made the decision based on my abilities, my resources, my time, my situation. And you will have to make the choices according to situations and according to the space in which you are in. I cannot say anything about commercial schools because for some parents, that's the only choice they have. And good or bad, a commercial school has got its plus points and its minus points. Both, like everything else, it has its plus and minus. So at the end of the day, it is about you, it is about your situation, and it is something can work for your sister and it can't work for you. Just like for parents who have 4 or 5 kids, what they did for the first child is not necessary that they will be able to do the same thing for the 5th child because the situation is different, even though they are the same parents. So it's a lot of choices, but it's really about what best for you at a particular time.
Thank you. Before I hand over to Manhaji, I just want to make sure, are there any questions pending? If anybody would like to speak or ask or give feedback or anything, please go ahead. We are running short of time. If you can unmute.
Yes, Dr. Shafiq, I have to also leave now. So if...
Yeah, we are almost closing, ma'am.
Sure.
Okay, Manhaji, over to you.
Okay, thank you, sir. As we conclude our session today, I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to you, Asma ji, for the thought-provoking lecture. Your insights and perspective have truly inspired us to rethink and reimagine the future of education. Thank you, Dr. Shafiq, and a big thank you to you, our amazing audience, for your participation and engagement. We appreciate your presence, enthusiasm, and contribution. We would love to have you on board IPA. Together, we can make a meaningful impact. Kindly chat Kindly check your chat box for the links there so you can get updates on the upcoming activities. Thank you.
Thank you very much once again for this opportunity, Dr. Shafiq. It was amazing, and I'm really amazed to see the participation. Thank you so much. I had a wonderful time.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, team.
Please go ahead, Malika.
I think I'm just closing that one. So it was very informative and knowledgeable session. I really appreciate. I'm looking forward for further sessions in future.
Yeah, definitely. I hope you have joined our group, and I will keep you updated as events unfold. And we have a lot of things to offer in coming few days, sure. As I will be closing this meeting in a couple of seconds or minutes, if you have anything to comment, please go ahead. Otherwise, inshallah, I will see you in some other session. Thank you so much for joining. I'm impressed that, a very qualified and experienced audience, and, so patiently you're listening to Asma ji. I hope you have benefited from this session. And of course, we also benefited from your comments. And Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much for that.